Are you crazy to use travel agents today? Are they still relevant? What about travel insurance? Do you trust your bank card issued travel insurance? If you do, you may want to check the fine print. We expose a couple of crazy bureaucratic tales that the fireys have to tell, and yet another crazy tale of how the big banks have been screwing us. Nick Krygios is on the receiving end of disturbing private messages, and we delve into the question of money in sport again, and are these young athletes simply a symptom of a bigger issue? However, Chris proposes a solution. Yes, Chris. Amazing. So keep listening and see what else I may make you smile today with the Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World podcast.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Two Crazy Guys in One Crazy World podcast, where your hosts will entertain you with stories and news from around the living room and possibly other places too. So without further ado, your hosts, Stacey and Chris. Bring it on, guys.
No, seriously, wait.
Hello. Stacey, smile if you can hear me. Damn it, I left it. Elvis took my place.
Elvis took your place.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once more to Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World. This is episode number 3 in our Mad Hatter podcast. And if you're listening to it, trust me, you've already proven that you're crazy, but you're also one of our best ever friends. Don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on iTunes when it eventually gets to iTunes, because apparently everyone has a podcast platform.
Or any other platform you're listening to.
Or any other platform. Yeah, we just want the 5 stars, because everyone who has a podcast says, give me 5 stars. Well, what happens if you get 4? What if you get 4? What do they do? Turn you into green frog and take away your birthday?
We cry in the corner because we're very sad, apparently.
Oh, no. So you don't want to see us cry, because like Dead said, Stacey is the worst crier in the world.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to see that. It's not pretty.
No, not pretty at all.
Not pretty at all. It's like me anyway. And for those that are watching the video, I do apologise. I've spent the morning out on the whippersnipper and the mower.
So he's wearing his working shirt, whereas, I'm all dressed up. My country road jumper.
So you jumper? Oh my God!
Yeah, hot here. It's cold down there. I've got the heater going.
I've been sweating my butt off all morning, mate.
Mate, I've got the heater going.
An acre and a half to look after.
I've got it set on 21 degrees, and I'm still wearing a jumper. I mean, do you not remember what Canberra's like at this time of year?
It's a distant memory, my friend. A distant memory.
That's just so wrong. This is what happens, ladies and gents, when he moves to Queensland. You can't remember what us poor Southerners have to go through every year.
Dude, why do you think I moved back to Queensland?
Because occasionally he remembers what us poor Southerners have to go through every year.
Every winter my body was saying, what the hell are you doing to me?
So how are you today, buddy?
Yeah, good. Like I said, just recovering from a bit of whippersnippering and mowing and all that good fun stuff.
You know, when he says recovering, he's got a really big mother of a sit-on, as in on his butt, lawnmower. It's really hard work when you want to do it.
Yeah, okay. The mowing part ain't so hard, right? But the whippersnippering sucks.
Yeah, that's true. It does. All the bits fly up and hit you in the face.
But anyway, I don't mind it, to be honest. I mean, I don't make a deal of that. I actually quite enjoy being out in the garden and being in the sun and sweating away. It makes me feel alive. It makes me feel good.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it, because I started my day at the Network One Business Breakfast here in Canberra, and it was actually really good.
Excellent.
It was really good.
What sort of a roll-up did you get?
There are probably about 8 or 10 people there this morning, but they have up to 30 on any given day between Tuesday and Friday. So they have different people, different days. When I got there today, they were looking for a life coach for the Thursday sessions.
Oh, cool.
Anyone who wants to join it can just go along. It's at the Hyatt Hotel here in Canberra. They pay $30 for the drinking, and it's in a private room. And what it really is people referring business to one another.
Yeah.
So it's actually pretty handy to have. So for anyone out there who happens to be listening to this in Canberra, Network One Business Breakfast, Hyatt Hotel, 6:45, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday each week.
Yeah, and looking for anyone in. Yeah, look, and anywhere you are, and pretty much around the world. I mean, there are a lot now of business networking. Breakfasts have become very popular, and there's a number of groups that are available. Look, you just got to get on the internet and do a quick search, and anyone whose business who's who would like to increase that network. They're generally, and the ones that I've attended in the past have all been very fruitful, good, positive people that are all there just to.
Well, everyone there is for the same reason.
Exactly.
They're all there for the same reason. They want the referrals, and it's a great way to get that referrals and get additional business. Like this morning, one of the people who gave a presentation was actually a travel agent. And I don't know about you guys overseas. If you have any listeners overseas, you may not ever have heard of Flight Centre. But Flight Centre's got about 50 different companies.
Yep. Yeah.
Right? And all these different agents. And they've got all these boutique ones and everything as well. And he gave a really good presentation on why, or the benefits, I guess, the benefits of actually using a travel agent, especially if you've got a complicated itinerary.
Oh, absolutely. No, I agree. I think it was really good. Yeah, look, we go between both. I mean, we organise a lot of our more simplistic travel ourselves. Get online, do that sort of thing. But yes, and look, we've got a big trip coming up in September, October this year. It's actually Julia and my 20th anniversary this year. And
I know. And guess what, ladies and gents? Guess what they're doing? No, not that.
I was going to say, where are you going with this, dude?
Yeah, that's been going on for 20 odd years, if not longer. No, they're actually going to renew their vows.
Yeah, it's sort of. We're going to have a nice. We're actually going to Bali with the family and friends, and we're going to have a local blessing. Is actually what we're going to do. But yeah, it's just something to signify the event. I mean, 20 years is quite a time in today's world of marriage.
Yeah, well done to you guys.
It's our second marriage, which is even tougher. I think the divorce rate for second marriage is higher than
like each other first time.
So we thought we'd give it another crack. So we're doing that, and it's actually my 50th in October. So it's a big year for us.
Wow.
And, so we're
I remember my 50th.
Do you?
Just.
Memory's good.
Thanks, mate.
But the point of that story was, we're using. In fact, my daughter is a travel agent. She does. She works for Hello World Travel in Kawana. So anyone on the sunny coast, anyone, go and talk to Emma Daniels. She'll look after you. And
she's not been paid it.
No, that's a pure love advertisement for that one.
That's right.
So she's organising all of that. We're doing a river cruise over in Europe as well, and there's advantages and there's things that the travel agents get access to that the average person just don't. So look, at this stage there's still definitely a need for a good travel agent.
Yep, absolutely. Did you know that travel insurance is one of the big things that they actually do as well? Because the credit card insurance, I didn't know this until this morning. Your credit, like a lot of people go and because they've got a Commonwealth Bank Gold Card or American Express Gold Card, whatever it happens to be, and it includes international travel insurance.
Yeah,
but the difference with that is you actually, if something happens, you have to actually apply to the bank. So it's a bank one. You apply to the bank who ascertain whether you've got a claim. And if they agree that you've got a claim, it then gets submitted to the insurance company.
Yep.
But what they do, let's say you're in America, and you've gone into the hospital, which can cost $4,000 a day for a bed, and you've got a $10,000 limit. If they've agreed you've got a claim, they will increase your limit by the amount of the medical expenses ongoing until the insurance company pays.
No,
so you're actually going further into debt. But what happens then, let's say Stacey and Julia are in America. Yeah, let's say Stacey and Julia are in America and Julia's rested up because she twisted her ankle or something, right, or busted a leg, she's in hospital, and Stacey says, hey, babe, those Universal Studio tickets, I'm going to go and do that. And you trottle off and do it, right? And you fall off the ride because you're a numpty head, right? And you break your other leg, guess what?
What?
You're not covered.
Why?
Because one of the things with the credit cards, everyone has to be on the same itinerary. So you have to do activities together.
Oh, my God, seriously.
If you go off and do something that's outside of what you planned and what you were covered for, or without the others, you are not covered.
Classic example of reading that fine print.
Absolutely. And that's one of the drawbacks. Yeah. Whereas if you've gone direct to the insurance company, they pay the bills. You don't pay anything. But you're actually going further and further into debt. So therefore, if the company knocks back your claim, who's carrying the debt?
Yeah, you are. Absolutely.
You are, personally, on your credit card.
Yeah, look, we've had family who's had incidences where, for example, our niece got sick while overseas, and the insurance company flew her mum straight over. I think she was in India at the time. Flew her mum over, put her up, looked after her, paid all the bills. They apparently were just brilliant, and got them home safe and sound. And look, there are so many stories of travel insurance that save people's butts.
Absolutely. Well, there was one highlighted last year that they told us about this morning. I remember reading about it. It was a young couple from here in Australia. They're 22 years old, and they went to Fiji for their honeymoon. Now, they're young, they're healthy, they're fit, they're everything. What's going to happen? They had no insurance.
Fiji, lost.
She died. Unfortunately, the young lady died on the honeymoon, and so they then had to repatriate the body back to Australia. $60,000.
Oh man! So if it's not bad enough, you've actually lost someone. You're dealing with the loss and the grief, and then you've got a bill like that to deal with as well.
And because they didn't have travel insurance, they actually had to raise it through a GoFundMe page.
Oh man!
Could you imagine that? Imagine what they would do to you.
Well, you know, the travel agents say you can't afford travel insurance, you can't afford to travel.
Yeah, that's a very good one. We're not plugging travel insurance, ladies and gentlemen. We're not plugging travel agents. We're just saying there's all this stuff out there in this big crazy world that you should start looking at a little bit better. Because I know from personal experience, I've done trips overseas where I said, I've got it on the credit card. Thank God nothing happened. No, it's just crazy. Anyway, moving on.
We should know better than to trust the banks, my friend.
Yes, we'll get more into that very soon. Okay, guess what? I just want to have a little, tiny little chat about two things.
Is this
women code.
Okay.
This can be my beef of the day. We have beef of the week.
Is this your beef of the day? Yep. Okay.
Well, it's the beef of the cast. Hey, beef cast. Recently, here in the ACT, they had a round of recruitment for the ACT Fire Brigade. And it was actually one of the bigger ones in recent time. They were recruiting 22 people. Now, as per normal, they got truckloads of applicants, but it's a very rigid process to get
in. Which in itself surprised me. I didn't realise you'd have that many people trying to be a fire brigade.
Oh, mate, they call it the job in the ACT. They call it the job you have when you don't have a job. It's 4 days on, 4 days off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so like 4 days. It's either 4 days on, 4 days off, or 7 days on, 7 days off. And so most of them are tradies and things like that, and they have other jobs.
Oh, really?
So, absolutely. They love it. It's a really good job. That, mind you, those guys are highly trained.
That whole fire thing?
Yeah, I know. That's where it comes in. If something does happen, they earn their money. But anyway, the government in these days of political correctness, and remember we always said we're not going to be politically correct, but this is just the only way I can term it, have said that they wanted, I think it was 8 females and 14 males, right? And so they set a quota, and that's what they had to recruit. Right. Now, unfortunately, when they went through all the testing, only 6 females passed. They had enough applicants, but there were only 6 who passed and who qualified to actually get in. They had truckloads of guys, but they could only take 14, right? So they got a total of 20 people. What'd they do? They got a couple of
government. It wouldn't be logical, I'm sure.
That's it. They can run the course with 20 people, or you could give the next 2 guys who qualified the job. Right? Yeah. That would be to be the logical thing, because they needed 22 people because the fire is a short staff. And these guys, while they work 12 or 24-hour shifts, I can't remember what it is. They get to sleep at night time and all that sort of stuff unless there's a fire. But they're losing their time off. Right? They're losing their time off because they're so short staffed. So instead of having their 4-day break, a lot of them are getting 1 day. Right? A lot of them are being called back in the next day after 8 hours and stuff like that. So they needed these.
It's got to be a safety concern. I mean, the risk has got to be for their own personal safety.
Absolutely. So the government, in their infinite wisdom, said, well, we haven't reached our quota for women, cancel the course. and took no one.
Cancelled the whole course.
And cancelled the course. Cancelled the whole course.
Oh,
Recruited no one. They've got 20 people plus spares who've qualified, and they cancelled it.
That is ludicrous.
No? So what has to happen, this is the crazy shit that goes on. So what has to happen is next time they have a course, which is God knows when because they haven't advertised it yet, that everyone has to reapply.
What a waste of time and resources.
It's an absolute waste of money. That's the first one. Here's the second one. The ACT Fire is same guys. The administration side of the ACT Fire Brigade is on strike today. Right?
Okay.
Now, it's only the admins, all the fireys want to strike, but the active guys said, we're not going to actually strike because if something happens, we want to be there.
Ready to go.
So they're doing the right thing. Now, it's a pay dispute. We all know strikes in this country happen over pay disputes, like people get offered 2 or 3%, and they say, we want more. They go stomp, 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 right?
Yep.
Now, the fireys were offered 10%, which is a pretty damn good pay rise.
Yep.
Guess what they did?
Certainly deserve it.
Yeah. They said, no, we don't want it. How about you keep your money and put it in to resources? Give us the equipment upgrades we need, upgrade the facilities we need, trucks, whatever it happens to be that allow us to do the job. In other words, they were saying, thank you for offering us that extra X number of $1,000 a year. We're really pleased you did. However, we don't want it. We want you to keep it and use it on making things better for all fireys.
So why are they
Guess what the government did? Government said no.
Of course
The
they did.
government has said no. They've been handed back millions of dollars. And they've said, no, you have to take your pay rise.
Which I am sure there is a political reason for that.
Oh, that has to be. Because it's crazy. I mean, these guys have knocked back a pay rise for the best reason in the world. Spend that money on new hoses, spend it on new trucks, spend it on new fireys, whatever you want to spend it on to make our life better, to give us what we need to do our job. And the government says, yeah, no, we can't do that. We'd rather give it to you. But we don't want it. We want you to spend it on stuff we need.
Well,
yeah,
they do want it. I'm sure they want it, but they're making a choice that they really shouldn't have to make.
Absolutely.
Right?
And now,
equipment, then they should be provided the equipment.
Yeah, and now they're on strike.
Unbelievable.
There you go. That is my absolute crazy beef of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot understand how these decisions are made. And God, I hope I never do, because if for any reason I ever begin to think that that's a rational thing to do, someone be out of my misery. That's my rant. What about you, Mr. Basil?
Crazy old stuff, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Look, my beef for the day, or whatever it is actually around the fact that there has now been a whistleblower that has come out in the US that is has testified or is prepared to testify to the fact that big banks have been manipulating the gold and silver markets. Shock horror.
Big banks.
Just when we thought we couldn't.
Yeah, is this US banks or is this global banks?
JP Morgan. I mean, we're talking big global banks here, right?
Yeah. Okay, can I ask you a dumb question?
Oh, please do.
Is JP Morgan a bank?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, just do a search.
They're like a big finance company.
One of the big. Well, yeah, they are finance, but they're primarily a bank.
Really? Well, a US bank, obviously.
Yeah.
Or a world bank.
US.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're based started in the US. I think their head office is US.
Okay.
They are a global bank now. Biggest in the world.
Bloody hell. Who do you bank with? JP Morgan. Oh, really? You're a nice guy?
Well, JP Morgan, the original guy who actually started it, was a massive entrepreneur who, if you do a bit of research on him, apparently he's got a lot of high up contacts, shall we say.
Yeah. Mate, he's probably dead by now.
JP Morgan, yeah. I'd suggest so.
Yeah.
That's a very good question because I'm going to JP Morgan.
No, talk. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the bit where I've got to tell Stacey, stop researching during the show, do it later.
I can do it. We can do it while we, while we do
but
it.
you've got to keep talking while you do it. And
You mean do two things at once?
I know, and you're not a girl, right?
Oh my
You
God!
might have a girl. No, you're not a girl.
Ask my wife. There is no way I could do two things at once.
Exactly. So keep talking.
I start.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. While you do that, I'll just tell everyone just another tiny little snippet of information. Tiny little one.
What would that
Guess
be?
what's here?
What's here?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Star Wars has arrived. The US Navy has firmed up and ordered 2 laser cannons. They are laser cannons to be fitted to destroyers, and they can burn up drones in the sky and burn through the hulls of boats and ships with a laser. Tell me that's not sci-fi.
There you go. I'll share. I found.
Oh, there you go. Look, see, he was listening.
All
right, someone out there, tell me that's not sci-fi. And it's Lockheed Martin. Oh, there goes my phone. Sorry about that.
Right, so I've just opened up the a news article.
Yeah.
U.S. Navy orders laser cannon to be mounted on active warship within a year.
There you go. See, look at that.
Holy
And
crap.
look at the artist impression. You know, I just tried to scroll your page. I mean, why isn't my mouse working?
Up there for thinking 99.
Oh, yeah, right, eh?
Good work. Yes, so there you go.
There you go, look at that.
Star Wars is here.
It is here. How scary is that?
See, now, I might add to my beef of the day then. How many billions of dollars has gone into the development of this yet another
Yeah, but that's been done by a private
technology?
company.
But that's my point, right?
Lockheed Martin.
If there wasn't a need for it, they wouldn't be doing it. They do it because they can make money.
Yeah,
but
the US spends more on defence per year than most countries' economy.
At what point do we as a human race not start applying this technology and knowledge and dollars into the betterment of humanity rather than destroying the crap out of each other?
I mean, seriously. To the human race. Seriously? Think back to the ancient Egyptian times, right? The Egyptians had bronze. Bronze was a big thing back then, right? Then someone came along and invented steel. And so the Egyptians went to war, like I think it was the Romans or something. I can't, so please don't shoot me down for being wrong who it was. But they suddenly had a battle and they go in and fight all this stuff and they put their shields up and these other swords go straight through the shields and kill them. And they're like, huh? What's that? Because steel is tougher than bronze. And so it's just an example. We're always going to progress wherever the technology takes us.
Look, absolutely. But my point really is, why are we doing it on weapons and war? That's my beef.
There you go. JP Morgan died in March 1913.
There you go.
There you go.
He's the one who started off the JP Morgan chase. Back in the day. Now JP Morgan is a massive global entity.
Wow. Yeah.
But these mongrels, there's a whole bunch of articles, so don't take my word for it. Just go into Google and search silver and gold manipulation. It's been exposed. And the person in particular who's come out as a whistleblower is testifying the fact that he was part of the team. He was instructed. His bosses knew, and his job was to manipulate down the price of gold and silver, and in particular silver. And interestingly, and they've done this for 10 years, right? This isn't just brand new. And the crazy thing is, right, the America has, so many different regulatory agencies whose job is to police these guys, right? much like we do in Australia. And for years, people have been saying the gold and silver's been manipulated. Gold and silver's been manipulated.
Everyone
and
needs them.
the agencies have said, "Oh, we've investigated. Nothing to see here. Nothing happened."
Everyone
theories, right?
Like the big banks here. Everyone needs them, so they've gotten away with blue bloody murder forever.
Have they what? And the really interesting thing is, over the time that this has been happening, JP Morgan in particular has been loading up on silver.
Yeah.
Stockpiling huge amounts of silver. Now, this is not investment advice, but I'm just telling you what I'm looking at. If they're doing that and the price has been pushed down for years and now it's being exposed, free market should say that price should be a lot higher than what it is currently.
Yeah.
Might be an investment worthwhile. I don't know, but that's certainly. And look, I might do
that could be
a deeper dive on this for maybe our subscribers or something.
Sure.
And, do a bit more research.
When it comes to deeper diving and detailed research, Stacey's actually really, really good at it because, like, he tells me to go and do it, and I go, what? Right, so he'll do it, and you'll know you'll get the facts. I'll do it, and you'll get my facts.
Well, your facts? You mean what comes out your head at the time?
No, it means at least two people told me, so it can't be false.
Oh, good. All right. Well, listen. Let's move on to the next article. For those that don't know, I'm an ex-tennis coach, and I do enjoy my tennis, even though I haven't played for a while because I'm still getting back from my shoulder surgery. But I do like to follow the tennis, and being an Aussie, I follow our Aussie players. Nick Kyrgios is one of those characters that people love to hate, and he's definitely, like McEnroe was back in the day. He's a draw card. Whether you love him or hate him, people pay to watch him, right? And the crazy thing is, he is super talented. Like as a tennis coach, watching the raw talent of this kid just blows my mind. So I love watching him for that. Oh yeah, he seriously would be probably one of the most talented players I have seen in my entire life. Right? Wow. Even more so than McEnroe, and who I believe one of. Oh yes.
No.
He has more weapons. He has more weapons and touch and just that natural court awareness than anyone.
Yeah, but he's also but his problem is that he's got less spark between his ears.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about emotional intelligence. I'm not talking about his consistency. I'm talking about raw talent, right? And that's the difference. There's a big difference.
Well, that's like they used to say that about Mark Philippoussis.
Yeah, look, and Mark, absolutely. Same deal. He was very talented. He had some big weapons. He had a good game. But as he himself admitted, he was out for a good time, right? He spent too much time partying than actually training. But look,
and that's what Krygios does.
The latest, no, he's not. He's not a real partier, actually. Nowhere near like Philippoussis was. But look, here's the latest thing. He's playing at the moment at the Miami Wells. And doing really well. In fact, if you watch the highlights of his last match, you'll see some of that utter raw talent that I'm talking about. And but of course, it's not his tennis that gets the news or the headlines. It's what goes on. And but he shames this. The headline: Nick Kyrgios publicly shames racist, homophobic online troll over spiteful message. And he's actually received a private message, right, from a person. Yeah. And he's actually taken screenshots and published the screenshots. Now I just noticed the video play's not working. But
be careful of the language there. There's some
there is some bad words there. And I won't repeat what's there, but it is atrocious. And look, no one deserves that. I mean, at the end of the day, he goes out and he plays tennis, right? And like him or hate him, whatever, no one deserves to be spoken to like that. And he's in fair call. He's come out and he shared it and just said, I don't deserve this, And he, what did he actually say? And his exact words: "You have to question the world when a grown-ass man feels the need to reach out with this hate, a racist, homophobic hater. Yet I'm the disgrace. How messed up is the world? You'd be surprised how much of this shit I have to put up with, especially from Australia." Now that in particular really concerns me. It's like, what sort of people do we have in our own country as well that feel to share this?
I reckon that if he checked it out or whatever, you'd probably find he's getting as much from anywhere, that he would focus on the Australia stuff. I mean, I heard the radio this morning, and they, the two, hang on a second, I've got to get rid of a dog.
And we're back. Hang on, you're quiet.
A bit out. I heard the radio this morning, and the two hosts, Canberra Radio, and which is Canberra, by the way, folks, is where Nick Krygios was born and bred. Right?
Yes, the Canberra boy, yep.
Yeah, two of our local radio people on here. One of them is a huge Krygios fan, and the other one is a huge Krygios, or however you pronounce it, critic. Now, not a critic of his tennis. Says openly that the guy is an amazing tennis player.
Yep. But
very much critical of his ability to get on and play the game, i.e. just get on with it. He said, and as he pointed out this morning, you've got a history of people like McEnroe who would mouth on but would still get out there and would still play the game. You got Federer, you got Nadal, you got a truckload of other players from around the world who don't do this stuff, who manage to put it aside and just play their match.
Sure.
Right? They might say something after the match, but during the match, they just play their match.
Sure.
Right? And they're saying, why can't Krygios do the same? Why does he have to?
The same person. Why should he conform? That's the question, right? I mean,
that's right.
It's his difference. And look, I don't agree with all his behaviour and the things that he says. I'm not condoning any of that.
I think he's a tosser.
But bloody hell, he's exciting to watch, right? And for the same reason, everybody.
But what about when he throws matches, which he's admitted he's done?
Oh yeah, he does, absolutely. And that comes back to that emotional intelligence and the place he is mentally, and what's going on. To me, nobody knows. Nobody has the answers for that other than him.
Yeah, right? But to me, and doing it at that level, when someone else who's struggling to get into that level of a match has missed out because he's there, is totally disrespectful to the entire sport.
Yeah, look, I hear what you say, yes and no, but it's at the end of the day, it's just a sporting game, right? And what's the purpose of the sporting game? To beat your opponent. Now, if you're not good enough to beat your opponent, regardless of what their behaviour is, well, stiff shit, right? Yeah. You're not good enough, period. You can whinge and bitch about their behaviour and their attitude. They don't respect me, but hey, dude, you're not good enough to beat him. Well, suck it up, princess, right?
No, I'm not talking about the people who can't beat him. I'm talking about Krygios throwing the games that he could win.
Oh, he can't be. Yeah, absolutely. And the only person that can answer that is Nick, right?
Yeah.
We can't pretend to know what's going on inside his head, as I couldn't pretend to know what's going on inside your head, right?
Mine's a long story. Krygios is a short story.
Yeah, but no one knows what someone else has been through or their experiences and what they feel, right? So, it's very easy to sit here and judge from the sidelines. And I think. I feel for young athletes who are put in the spotlight way too early. We've got two classic examples of that in Australia, not just Nick. And young Bernard Tomic was the same. Who I believe it too much money too early.
I think it all comes down to that. Comes
brought up. Yeah, look, there's too much money that they grow up in a bit of a surreal environment, right? And they've never had to really work their ass off to get to where they need to be. And that's all part of the growing and maturing and stuff that they've got to work out, right? But the system is also to blame for that, right?
Yeah.
We can't sit there and point the finger at these young kids when we're expecting them to have the emotional maturity of a 40 or 50-year-old at 20. Yeah. I mean, that just doesn't happen.
So do we go down the way the jockeys went?
What the jockeys do?
Well, the jockeys, we all know most of the jockeys are young guys, right? And young guys and girls. And they can win hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in their during their apprenticeships and everything.
Yeah.
They don't get that money. They don't get it. It is held in trust until they turn 21. Yeah. It's absolutely, they get a wage, an apprentice wage, all the way through until they're 21.
That's a great idea.
Then they get the money then. Because
and even then, I'd give them a bit more at 21, but I'd push it out to 25.
Yeah, because you've only got to look back. Like talking about Nick, no one's doubting he's got talent. Like he's fantastic at watching. When he's behaving or when he's just concentrating on playing his tennis, he's just absolutely amazingly awesome, right? But you've only got to look back to his Australian Open a few years ago when he broke onto the scene and he won more money in that match or in that Australian Open than he'd won in his entire career before that. He was a humble young guy who was just happy to have made it there.
Yep.
But since then, he's been making that sort of money all the way through. And so suddenly you hit the nail on the head as far as I'm concerned. I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be wrong, folks. People will disagree with me everywhere. But suddenly he's gone from making tens of thousands of dollars and having all these bills and travel and all this other stuff to, okay, yeah, well, we balance it out and we're ahead, to making hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? And it's like, yeah, well, what do I care? And as you said with Tomic got asked the same sort of question a few years ago, probably 2 years ago, and his answer was, I'm 28 and I've got $10 million in the bank. Like, I give a fuck.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
And that's the problem.
The problem sits right there, right? And that's the system, right? I mean, we're sitting here, we're blaming these kids, but it's not the kids. It's actually the system in which that they're just a product. They're just a product of the system, right?
Yeah. And, so should the system be toughening up on them? Should the
well,
system
not toughening up? It should be it should be supporting them through that growth phase, right?
Yeah, but when they screw up like that, tough love. When they screw up like that, well, we all know Serena Williams has had a little tanty or two in a time, threatening to kill a linesman and all sorts of things.
Don't get me started on her.
Yeah, but she got
at an age when she shouldn't.
Yeah, go back to when she threatened the linesman, right?
Yeah.
She got fined $100,000, which was pocket change for her. Pocket change. Yeah. She should have been kicked off the tour for the rest of the year or something.
Yep, absolutely.
And Nick got banned for 6 weeks or whatever it was after his behaviour and throwing the match and everything. Yep, should that have been tougher? Should that have been, well, no, you're not going to get automatic qualifying into the next Grand Slam.
Not first time. Not first time. I think for first time, nothing wrong with that. You know, I think it was proportional. It was okay. But the problem is we are sending an inconsistent message. Like you said, the likes of Serena Williams and some of the big time boys have gotten away with worse, and not much has happened. So it's the message that we're sending across the whole sport that needs to be cleaned up. But it's got to be taken from a supportive perspective for these younger kids, for sure. Mm-hmm. The likes of Serena Williams, who's been on the court, the circuits for years and years and years, should have known better. And from my perspective, my own personal view is that Serena only really acts up when she's losing, right? And
absolutely.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No.
I think the true champions will behave the same, win or lose, right? And that's where I like, the likes of Federer, and those sort of guys, right? Sorry?
They are true champions, whether you love them or hate them. Federer, Nadal, Joker, Murray, all that breed, all the ones from the last 10 years, or most of the ones from the last 10 years, they're true champions.
Yep.
They didn't just have a dream run, they're true champions.
No. So anyway, but I just thought I did think what Nick said about the messages was fair, and even the guy that he actually had kicked out. The other thing we didn't sort of go into was he actually had a spectator kicked out of Miami because he was heckling him from the side, right? And he said that he just, as he changed ends, he just told him he was a dick, and then he kept going on, and he was like, what did he say? He said, no, I was like, okay, I don't understand the context of it, but you're sitting here, you pay good money to watch me on a Sunday night, so, You obviously have nothing else to do, but what? And he just said, he said it again. He said, "You're a dick." And I was like, "Well, you got nothing else to say." He said, "You've come here to do this." But he said he was having fun with it, right? And you watched the video, and he did have a right smile on his face as he was talking about it. And but anyway, he had the guy kicked out, which I think is fair enough.
The guy should have been kicked out too.
Absolutely, there's no reason for that, right?
There's no reason, because he's taunting Krygios to try and get him to react.
Absolutely,
and that's just wrong. Let the guy play his times.
Absolutely, and look, I certainly hope for Nick that that he does mature in that way mentally, and he does find that way to find that consistency, because seriously, he has the game to be world number one. He has the game to.
I hope he gets it. I hope he finds the mental ability to get there, because it's all mental.
Look, anyway, and I think a lot of
way over time, Mr. Basil. I think we've gone way over time.
There you go. Well, was there anything else we wanted to cover for this one?
No, not really. Not really. I think that we've probably got it a little bit, but next time I think we should do some talking crypto fun. Why don't we do that for all those crypto people out there?
Yes,
I don't know, we've got time today. It might make it a little bit long. But in episode 4, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is we're going to take you through some of the things you've got to do if you want to buy cryptocurrency. So please tune in, same bat time, same bat channel, different place, next time. Until then, remember, this is Two Crazy Guys, One Crazy World. I'm Chris, and this is...
And I'm Stacey, and as you said, fly be free.
Like Mork and Mindy, because remember, she was hot. All right, see you next time. Bye.
All right, see ya. Bye.